Adam, you do so many things that don't show up in the stat book, but eating up blockers, that type of stuff. So for you, is it harder to judge your performance just simply because so much of what you do doesn't show up in a stat book?
You know what? At this point, I really don't know. I mean, this will be the 8th year since I started playing, and that's kind of been the narrative. And I've taken pride in that. I've taken pride in being, the underdog. The guy that doesn't get all the credit. But helps the team win. I take pride in that. But I'm really trying to change that narrative. Because from the way I see it, it only benefits me so far. Like it limits the outcomes that I could be getting from this game, by being the underdog all the time.
Several times today you were talking to Byron, really being a mentor and a teacher to him. How do you feel like he's coming along?
I think he's doing great. I think this year his attitude is better, and I think that's the biggest thing. If your mindset isn't right, you ain't gonna go very far. You take one step forward, you take 2 steps back, with a sour attitude. But I'm proud of his attitude and his maturity towards the game.
So going back to what you were saying before, like how do you want to be measured and what do you want to do to, I guess, make yourself known or whatever you want?
Yeah, I just want to continue, being an all-down player. For most of my career, I've been mostly pass downs, mostly third downs, and that's good. I think my stats are good. They could be better. But I really want to, be more of an early down player as well, and just change the narrative about myself, throughout the league and show that I can play the run and I can rush the pass at the same time.
You got a lot of early opportunities so far in camp. How do you feel that's come along? How do you feel like you're?
You know what? I've had some good days, so far, but still, I never want to get complacent. I really don't. It's just a recipe for disaster. And I can't even, I had a great day, the first day, but I got to forget about that. I got to move on and I got to do it over and over again, consistently, so I can help this team win.
When it comes to getting to the quarterback, how much of it is desire, how much of it is technique?
I'm not gonna lie to you. Based on his question, with a lot of what I do and what I've done throughout the, throughout the league, for me, it's not really about attitude. It's really about strategy. For me, I'm just speaking for me. I know for Max and some of the other guys that rush, in a traditional sense, it might be attitude. It might just be desire. It might just be the will to go get it. For me, it is a combination of those things, but it's also, more strategy and then understanding what the other side's going to do. I'm the type of player I can sniff out what they're going to do as far as protection goes before they even do it, and then, I'll, tell Max to do this or tell, Malk to do whatever, and then I'll adjust my rush based on what I know they're doing. Does that make sense?
Oh, yeah.
See, so it's hard to explain. It really is. It's hard to explain from my perspective. Yeah, snap to snap. But for me, you can just chalk it up to a mental game.
You are a senior voice on that line, a teacher. Will you talk about how you feel Tyree's coming along?
You know what? He's taking baby steps. He really is. With him, I think it'd be best if he just, focus on one thing at a time. That's what I had to do as a young player as well, because, I had so many things that I needed to improve on. And he's no different than anybody else that first came in the league. He's got things he needs to improve on. And I think he's putting in effort. He's putting in the effort to do that. And I've seen him grow as well.
With all the talent.
You have a lot of energy. After the play's done, you make a good play. I see you running into the backfield to flex and whatnot and do some talking. Is it a lot have anything to do with you talking about changing the narrative in those moments, letting them know that I did that, like that was me? Right.
It does. And I have a new attitude. I really do, and I want to be seen. I want to show up. Because I still feel like in this league I have something to prove. And I want to prove it to my teammates. I want to prove it to the coaches. And I want to let everybody know I'm here. I'm not going back to just being third down. I'm here. I'm here for the early downs, the whole thing.
With all that talent that's in that defensive line room, how much does that help push you to be that guy, because you know how talented that room can be?
Yeah, it does push me a lot. Watching Max and Christian, you know, watching him get after it every day, it makes me want to step up my game too. You know, so I'm glad we got those two in the room. And like I said, I'm trying to get my foot in the door. I'm trying to be somewhere in that conversation. You know.
You kind of started getting to do more of that stuff, and at the end of last year, and especially in camp, you're getting a lot of those opportunities. What was it about this situation here that you think's been able to bring out the best in you and get to you some of the places you want to be?
Say it again.
Like, what do you think it was about the Raiders that made you fit in so well and have this opportunity to reach those guys?
Yeah, well, being a Raider, it just comes with an attitude. You know, if you're a Raider, you tough. You know, I mean, this is hard-nosed football. You know, and to be in a part of this organization, you just have to have a certain attitude about yourself. You know, and I'm every day I'm trying to adapt that attitude more and more. You know, but still, you know, being an intelligent player, that's what I pride myself on. But yeah.
You mentioned Christian. What has he brought to the mix so far?
Really just energy and personality. You know, just as much as I'm screaming and yelling, you know, when he's in there and he's making plays, if you watch him, he's doing the same thing. You know, he may or may not be as loud as I am. You know, it just depends. But just his energy, you know, and his swag about himself, he is a personality. There's no other Christian Wilkinson in the NFL. He's just him. So.
Adam, last year you would get a lot of double teams. Does having Christian open up more opportunity for you?
I don't know. It just depends on what the other side wants to do. That's why I said for me it's different. What you just said, you know, I've known that. And it's kind of been a struggle trying to work through a double team. I mean, it's not easy to get around, you know. And I think in 2019 at one point I was one of the most double team guys, you know, aside of Aaron Donald, you know. So that's something I'm trying to work through, and at some point I'll figure it out.
What did you do this off season that made you change this attitude? That suddenly you said, you know what, I gotta be present.
Shoot, I'm not gonna lie. I mean, I don't really, you know, want to talk about, you know, like contracts and all that stuff like that, you know. But my goal is to get a better one. Let's leave it at that. My goal is to get a better one. You know, I had 6 sacks last year. You know, and that's good. You know, that's good for me. You know, and I was hoping for a better one, but my goal is to get a better one. That's it.
Follow-up question: being able to surround yourself with someone like Max Crosby, who did get that contract, or Christian coming in and getting that type of contract, does that kind of help you talk to them and communicate? It would just be like, how measure yourself? Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be honest, because I mean, I'm hard on myself. Every contract that Max has, he's earned it. He's earned every bit of it. Every contract that Christian or anybody else on this team or in the NFL has earned it. Maybe even with the things that I've done in this league, maybe I haven't earned it. I don't know. I feel like I have, but maybe I haven't. So the best thing to do is to change yourself. It's not point fingers and say, you know, the coach isn't doing this, or you know, it's this person or that person. The best thing to do is to change yourself and your attitude and your approach. And that's what I'm trying to do. And I think that just taking that attitude and taking those steps will help me get the results that I want.
Let's do one more, if any. Good?
Thanks a lot, Adam.